Hi, folks, in the Cobb TV studios with Chairman Mike Boyce for our weekly chat. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching.
Where you're at, that's right. Well, but it's good. It's a good day to live in Cobb County. And I think today, just a very short message. I'll be in New York at the end of this week defending our AAA rating. And again, that has consequences for all of us as taxpayers, because as long as we keep our AAA rating, then we get to borrow money at a lower interest rate. If we lose that AAA rating, then it only makes sense that we'll pay more to borrow, and we have to borrow. We have to bridge the gap between when our tax collections end from property and personal property tax receipts end sometime in the spring, and then we don't start collecting them again until after we pass the millage rate and the budget in the summer. So we have that 5 or 6 month period in there where we have to bridge that to pay off the cost of our services. But I just want to say, let's get this down to brass tacks. I've been made very clear here about the budget process, which is to make it more open and transparent. So not just the people, but the commissioners have a hand, and they see exactly when I propose a budget, which is my responsibility, one of my two responsibilities. When I propose a budget, they've had the chance to look at that budget over the last 9 months and see how I got to where I got. The budget's shaped by what I hear during the presentations. We've had 3 of them now. I have 1 more to go. During the presentations, what I hear from the people through email, through Facebook, through phone calls, as we get out our story early, and we have gotten our story out since last October, about this gap in our budget. And I think it's time to be very, very blunt about this in black and white. The reason we have this gap isn't because of government spending. It's because the tax revenues don't match the quality of services this county wants to live this high quality life. That's the bottom line. And I recognize the fact that we have this give and take in our system. But there is this narrative out there that this government overspends. And unfortunately, we have people in office who are saying these things that should know better, because they know by now that exactly why we're spending what we're spending. If we want to keep the millage rate that we're going to have for the last year, it's very simple. We cut out some of these amenities that this county's come to expect over the last 30 years. We cut out amenities like libraries. We cut out amenities like the senior services. We cut out amenities like the parks. That's priority-based budgeting. All these amenities are not things that we're required by law to do. But we do them because that's the kind of lifestyle we want to have in Cobb County. And the bottom line is that when we created these amenities 30 years ago, it cost X amount of dollars. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that that's 30 years down the road and prices go up. When I have to re-roof my house, I don't pay the same price to roof my house as when they put the tiles on 30 years ago. I got to pay a higher price, and that's where we are right now. So we're going to be going out on the road starting in June with these town halls. So there's going to be 6, but I'm going to move it up to 7 now. We also have the 3 public hearings for the millage rate and the 3 public hearings for the budget. In other words, we're going to have 12 opportunities for us to get our message out there. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If we cannot defend what we're doing, we shouldn't be doing it. And I'm going to defend what we're doing because I've had 16 months now to look at every line in the budget, and I know exactly what we're spending, and I'm hearing this is what we want to do. The problem is that in politics, people never want to spend for what they want to buy. And we're not a socialistic country. We're a capitalistic country, and I'm a Republican. I believe in fiscal responsibility. We have to pay for our services. And I just want to let people know here that if you have any doubts that I'm going to be defending what I think we're doing, if I'm going to be defending the incredible 5,000 people that provide the services every day in this county that you take for granted because they do it so well, then you don't know Mike Boyce. These are hardworking people, most of them underpaid, a lot of them overworked, including our public service department, but they do it because they are hardworking public servants who understand their obligations. And my responsibility is to convince the board and the public that what you're getting is the best of services and at the cheapest possible price.
When you talk about prices going up over the last 30 years, when I talk to the folks over at the courthouse or at the jail, with the police department, over at community development, what seems to drive a lot of the costs that we're facing is the fact that we're dealing with more people than we have ever before.
Well, let's put it this way. If you have a stadium that holds 30,000 people, then you have a stadium that holds 80,000 people, there seems to be a story out there by some people that you can serve a stadium with 80,000 people with the same number of employees you serve the stadium with 30,000 people. Well, you know, we were X number of people 30 years ago, and we're twice that many people now. And so we have to increase public services. And one of the ironies is that when we build a house, the cost that we derive from property taxes don't cover the cost of the services, which is why business taxes are so important. They're the ones that make up that delta between what it costs you to serve your house and what it costs the government to do that. And that's why you have to have a nice blend, about a 60-40 blend of residence to building. If you're overpopulated with residences, then you're going to have trouble delivering public services. We are blessed to have lots of great businesses in this county, and they know what they get for their money. I've yet to hear a single complaint from a business owner in this county in my 16 months in office about the price of their taxes, because they know what they get for their services. And so it's the give and take of politics. But again, it's time to step up to the plate here and say, this is what it costs for you to live in this county. We price this out. If you don't want to pay that price, I understand that. But I want you to understand what you're going to lose if we don't properly price that out. What I'm trying to do here is create a community where people can safely pursue their dreams. And that just takes a lot of moving parts. And every time you take a part away from that, you dilute it from the effort from your ability to achieve that dream that you can do here, which I believe, if not the best county in America, is certainly one of the best counties in America.
And as you and I have talked before, when you compare the services we provide, at what level we provide them in Cobb County, to the other metro counties, DeKalb, Fulton, Gwinnett, it's not like we're coming from a place where our taxes are high or even close to theirs.
No, it's not. But again, I like to stand alone. All right. The reality is that I can simply stand up here and say, look, I could double our millage rate right now, and it wouldn't meet the millage rates of some of our partnering counties. But that's unfair to them. They have their own lifestyle that they're trying to do with their taxes. I only talk about Cobb County. And what I want to do here is present as much as I can during these forums. Here are all the things that you get for what you get for your taxes. All right? Is this worth it to you? Can you see the value in that? And the message I'm trying to convey is not about the money. All right? Because when it's always about the money, then nobody ever wins. When you start bickering about money, there's no peaceful resolution to that. What you want to focus on is what are the quality that you're getting for the investment that you make into it. Your taxes are an investment, not just in today, but in the future. Because the future is what makes sure that you have a successful lifestyle today, because you're always making sure that your future is going to have a solid foundation.
It's my understanding, too, when you go talk to the rating agencies, that's something they pay attention to as well, whether you have enough revenue coming in to sustain what you're trying to provide to your citizens.
No question about it. They're going to look at our books, but they're also going to look, they're like anybody else. They're going to read the media. And if the story is that you're living in a county right now that's out of control, that's going to factor into their thinking. And there are consequences for painting an image that's just frankly not true.
Mm-hmm. And when you go up there, what's your expectations about what you'll learn when you're done with your trip?
I'm up there to defend this AAA rating because I know that we're worthy of a AAA rating. There's no mush, there's no facade to this AAA rating. We deliver solid services at the best possible prices in Cobb County. And the problem right now is that over the last 3 years, instead of investing in the future, we have taken money out of our savings to pay for that investment. That's not the way to do it. Eventually, the savings run out, and then what are you going to do? You have to have a pattern of investment where it's a constant revenue stream. And we haven't done that, all right? It's been bad budgeting practices. And I know it's all well and good to stick it on the past, but I don't deal with the past. I deal with the future and the today. And to pay for tomorrow, we have to acknowledge that we have no more buckets to raid. The mechanisms that we did to keep the millage rate artificially low, those mechanisms are all gone. So if people think that we have bloated government, what the reality is here is that we don't bring in the revenue to pay for these amenities. That's in the famous desired column, and I'm going to ask you to put up that famous pie again. Those elements in the desired part of our pie are what make this county great. but they're not free. And your taxes today, as you're currently given, don't pay for those. So I'm going to go on the road to convince you to do that. But again, I'm going to hear from the public. If you choose to support these amenities, then I need you to get out there and have your voice heard. Because if you stay home and just take it for granted that these amenities will always be there, you will be wrong. There are people in this county who, no matter what our narrative is, simply think that government has to bring in lower taxes to still give you the same high quality benefits. And that's just thinking it's illogical.
Right. All right, so as of now, we have 6 town halls scheduled.
7 now.
7 coming up, and we'll put a list of those up on the screen for you. So if you want to attend those, Chairman's on his way to New York. Next week, we'll meet with him again to see what happened up there and have more on the budget and what's going on in Cobb County as we go through these weeks. Thank you.
Well, see you next week, and I'll tell you about our trip.
All righty, thanks.